Hello, my name is Matt Bird, and welcome to the PublishU Podcast, where we feature the real life stories of authors from around the world. Today, I'm talking to Michael Smith from Ireland, who has authored a book called Pieces to the Puzzle. Michael, welcome.
Hi, Matt. Thank you.
So, being an author is a new dimension to your career because you've had a rich and interesting one. Tell us about the sort of things that you've done, Michael.
Uh, well, going back to when I was young, I used to be in the air training corps in the UK and learned to shoot guns and fly light aircraft right through to joining the police and becoming a police traffic officer, and did that for over 20 plus years. And when I retired back in 2015, I went into more or less like full-time ministry. That's what I really wanted to do.
What's ministry? Sorry, because not everybody that's listening is going to
Okay,
understand
so
that.
uh, Christian ministry, like ministering in churches and so on. And I decided to take a very deep study into the Bible.
Yeah,
So now I travel backwards and forwards and speak at churches and assist pastors, etc. That's what my wife and I do.
great, wonderful. I can't believe it's a decade or, well, 11 years since you retired.
Yeah, and you remember when I retired?
I do. It's been, it's flown by.
Yeah,
So, yeah, fascinating. So I didn't know the bit, I knew about the being a shooter. I didn't know about light aircraft. So that's a new
yeah,
one to me.
I used to fly gliders, and I had a glider pilot's license, and I also went on to fly light aircraft, but didn't pursue the private pilot's license, which I wish I had.
Yeah, there we go. So, and then working in the Met Police,
Yeah,
incredible. And now you're kind of retired, but working with churches and encouraging leaders, encouraging people.
yeah.
Great, amazing. And do you feel like life is a little bit more paced in your retirement, or do you still feel it's full on, Michael? Come on, be honest.
Matt, I think the whole retirement malarkey is a bit a bit of a joke. I don't know if anyone ever really retires, because if you retire, when you're in retirement, as long as you're doing what you enjoy, it never feels like work. So I don't have paid employment. I've not had paid employment for over 10 years. And we're great. You know, the Lord's taking care of us. I never came out here to work in the regular field. I wanted to work in ministry. I wanted to work for God. And that was it.
Yeah, yeah, very good, very good. And so, when did you first think, ah, I'd like to write a book?
Uh, I've thought about it for a long time. In fact, I wrote a small book which probably had about 6 or 7 pages in it. And I listen, I printed them off, um, and it was called "What Is Your Potential? What Is My Potential?" And it was a very small book, and I just printed a few copies of those and gave them out, but never to the extent like I've done now. And I think because you pursued me on this, I've seen actually for a few years you were writing to me, and we spoke on the phone and said, "Come on, Mike, it's time for you to get this book there." You know? And I said, I will write a book, but I'm not ready yet. And I wasn't ready at the time. But last year when you sent me a message, I said to my wife, I said, "Do you know what? Max contacted me several times. I think it's about time I actually put all this information I've got into a book." And so we agreed, yep, go ahead and do it. And I'm glad you were there. I'm glad because remember our phone call. I said to you, I'm really glad that you kept me on your mailing list and pursued, because if you hadn't, I wouldn't do it.
There we go.
Uh,
These things come in the right time, don't they?
yeah, absolutely.
So, so Michael, tell us about this book, Pieces to the Puzzle.
Well, do you know what, Matt? This came about as a result of my studies in the Bible. As I said, I spent a lot of time really studying the Bible, and I've got an online ministry that I do once a month, and use it for teaching and everything. So it became important to me that what I was learning, I wanted to share with others. However, the challenge was, I'm reading the Bible and I'm thinking, this is really confusing. A lot of it is confusing. And it's not as if I became a Christian in the last 5 years or 3 years. I was baptized at the age of 9 in the 60s sometime. I won't say exactly when. Yeah, and I grew up, I went to church, I left church, I came back when I was 20. And from then until now, which is some 40 plus years, I've been into the scriptures, into the word. Now, when I have written all this information, and I'm saying, I don't understand all of what I'm reading. I have had to be praying very hard to get clarity in the understanding of what it is that I'm reading. So not only do I watch certain people maybe on YouTube, or I'm taking on board what I've learned in churches, but writing information down. In the Bible, it says in the book of Habakkuk 2, verse 2, it says, write the vision, make it plain, so he who reads it will run well. That's been my bit of foundation scripture. So write the vision, write what I'm seeing, write what I'm hearing. And that's what I started doing. So having that and having a bit of a portfolio of messages, preaching sermons and everything that I've done, I thought I want to help other people to understand clarity of the Bible, because it's all over the place, Matt. It's, you read the Bible and you read a part in the beginning, then you got to go to the New Testament to find another part that confirms that, and then you read another part in Zephaniah, then you go to Habakkuk, and then you go to Psalms, and it's all over the place, which is why I said it's like a 10,000 piece puzzle, and who can make sense? You've got to put it together.
There we go. So this is why pieces to the puzzle, because you found the Bible to be like a 10,000 piece puzzle.
Absolutely.
And you're helping other people piece it all together.
Yes.
And this is actually not just one book, but this is the first in a series of books.
It is.
Because the Bible's a big book to understand.
And
so it's pretty hard to unpack it all in one book.
Exactly. So what I thought I'd do is I've set myself a target, as you know, of doing 6 books. So it's not going to cover every chapter or every word in the Bible. It's just taking up what I regard as, say, maybe salient points and putting it together and explaining it, creating the link from one section to another, and it will go right through the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament, right to the very end of Revelation. And that's the book that most people will struggle with, will be Revelation.
Yeah. Amazing. Very good. So, and you did the Writing My Book course.
Yes.
What is the obstacle you felt you were facing when you first thought about writing a book? What did you feel was standing in your way?
Do you know what, Matt? I really didn't think I could do it as much as I wanted to do it. I didn't think I could do it. And also financially, I didn't think I could do it. But we've managed to do it. And I've got so much more confidence doing it through PublishU, working as a team with other people, hearing their stories, seeing their books being published, hearing their challenges and how they overcome those challenges, and how the whole system has worked in our favor.
Yeah. Amazing. Really amazing. And it's amazing you want to do, a whole series of books. I mean, you're moving from thinking, oh, I'm not very confident, I want to write a book, but I'm not sure I can. And you move from that, do the Writing My Book course. Now you want to do a whole series. What was it the Writing My Book course helped you? What way did it help you, Michael?
Well, first of all, when it comes to writing the 6th, I think when I said that to Angela, she nearly fainted. So,
Angela being your wife.
My wife, yes.
Yeah, so, I know that, but not everybody else does.
Yeah, Angela's my wife. My loving wife of 40 years who's put up with me for over 40 years now, Matt. So she nearly fainted when I said to her, I think I want to write 6 books. Bearing in mind the commitment and time that I put into the first one, I found it really intense, to be perfectly honest. But at the end of it, I felt elated. I felt overjoyed, excited that, when I look at that book cover and you sent it through to me, and there's my 3D book cover, I almost burst into tears because I wondered, look, did I actually do this? My name is on the cover. And I'm going to think, did I actually do this? It's amazing. So having the idea of doing 6 meant I could do what my dream was. And my dream was to make the Bible easier for people to understand, for anyone. You don't have to be a Christian to read the Bible. You certainly have to be a Christian to read pieces to the puzzle. However, if you've got the two of them hand in hand and you want to understand what you read in the Bible, I'm hoping that Pieces to the Puzzle will bring a lot more clarity and understanding in simple terms, simple language to people to understand it better.
Oh, amazing. So, Michael, in closing today, what is your greatest hope for what Pieces to the Puzzle achieves?
Do you know what? I believe that my greatest hope would be the very first thing that came to my heart. I wanted to write something that even if, or even when, everything in the Bible comes to pass and the believers are taken away, that book will still encourage people after that time. So it's not just for now, it is for now for Christians and non-Christians, non-believers, everybody, but also after the main event, that it will still encourage and steer people in the right way, that they make the right decisions.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Michael, and thank you so much to all of you for listening to the PublishU podcast, where we feature the real life stories of authors from around the world. If you're interested in writing a book or perhaps even a series of books like Michael, please do reach out to us at www.publishu.com. PublishU.com. And if you enjoyed this broadcast, make sure you subscribe for more. Thank you so much for joining us, and goodbye for now.